Well, that didn't last. Cash from Anspecial is gone. Cheapskate bounty hunter. You and Anspe talk much when you were together? Swap stories about the old days? Gossip about me?
She said you were a habitual liar, and that you'd only met in the past year.
Yeah, figures she'd say something like that. She's kinda crazy. Whole thing got me thinking, though. I've had a lot of partners over the years. Her, Nemro. Guy named Rawl used to hijack Republic supply ships. He had money, he had brass. How you think you measure up?
You're really comparing me to your former partners?
Don't be like that. Just figuring why, with all the nasty, smart, rich people I've been with, I ended up with you.
We all need a break from the high life sometimes.
I'm just joking, Agent. Joking. Get used to it. Hey, Agent. Take a look at this.
Where is she?
I don't know. How would I know?
Khalil Janus and her Twi'lek associate was seen attacking exchange resources on Nar Shaddaa. Should I believe you wouldn't seek revenge? I want her last known location, and I want it now!
I love it. Listen to that little tremor in his voice. He's adorable.
He does say your name with fondness.
Ijel and I go way back. Soon as I show my face, he starts torturing people to track me down. He's been obsessed ever since we split up on Farstein. For an arms dealer, he's kinda sweet. Makes me feel wanted.
If you've got such a bond, why not let him find you?
Like you've never had a guy come after you. It's all part of the game. Of course, if he ever found me, I'd have to choose. Do I go back with the bad, nasty man? Or beat him down with someone new?
You're perfectly capable of protecting yourself.
No kidding. I'll keep you in the loop. Next recording gets out, we can watch it together. If you can guess who's been talking to Nemro the Hutt, you owe me a drink.
You think I enjoy guessing games? Talk.
Fine. But next time I keep it to myself. Me and the Crime King were wrapping up some old business, long story. But he let slip something interesting. Remember Yajal, my arms dealer come stalker? He's been touching base with a lot of guys I used to work with, Nemro included.
You knew Ijal would be a problem, and you let it go.
He just wants information. Here's the problem. Now that Yajal's tipped his hand, some of my other ex-partners, the ones with grudges, they figure they need to hit me before Yajal does. We're talking people who should have moved on years ago. Guess I left a mark.
You do have a way with people. What should we expect?
I'm not gonna make a list, but first example who comes to mind, card shark named Todd Teagle. Not a lot of guts, but he was rich and cute. We lived the high life until I broke his heart. Bet he'll hire some sleazebag to find me.
Todd Teagle, Card Shark, any other names?
Told you about your Jal role. Nemro and I are good. I'll let you know if anything else turns up. We might actually have to do something about this. All right, we've got a problem. I told you about my ex-partners, how they decided to come after me. Well, that's fine. I can deal with that. What's not fine is when random freaking bounty hunters come after me because they smell a trend.
You do know that most people don't have this problem.
Yeah, I know. Guy's called the Menace. Never worked with him, never dated him, never heard of him. He's tracking me down. Apparently got a rep as a duelist. Probably wants to auction me to anyone with a grudge.
You went after Anspecial to auction her off?
I nabbed her because it was personal. The money was just sense. Look, we need to do something. Get a little aggressive. You in?
Everything is secondary to the mission. You know that.
Yeah, I know what your priorities are. But we're gonna handle this. Just watch. Hey, so I've got credits and a couple free hours. You want to find a cantina, have a few drinks, start a few fights?
I don't spend many of my off hours in cantinas.
So try something new. Not like you have something better to do.
Just get back to the ship before we leave. And don't draw attention to yourself.
You know how to spoil the fun. Maybe Bug Boy will come along. So here's the deal. I've been working through the list of guys and gals who might come after me. Ex-partners, hookups, the usual. I'm ready to hit them whenever you are. Last we talked, though, you were pussyfooting around.
Is it really necessary to go after these people?
First, they're after me. Second, they're drawing attention. Third, it's your job. I went over your head. Talked to the Citadel boys about placing a few death marks. The Empire is now officially targeting my exes.
I have to admit, I'm impressed by your ingenuity.
There you go, talking dirty to me. There's 4 targets. Roll my pirate, Yajal the arms dealer, Todd Teagle the card shark, and that bounty hunter who's following along. I've got locations, so all we need to do is show up and start shooting.
This whole situation is a mess.
Still gotta clean it up somehow. Plenty of time to blame me afterward.
I have completed analysis of my restraining codes. Although I cannot leave or cause you direct harm, I'm under no obligation to obey your commands.
You may be stuck with me, but we don't have to be enemies.
Then you may aid my core functionality. I intend to proceed with my heuristic directive of self-improvement and intelligence upgrades. Cooperate willingly, and I may spare you pain when I am free.
You expect me to let you become more dangerous?
Personal evolution is my primary purpose. This self-iteration is number 973, and there will be more. Do not anger me unnecessarily.
I admit, I'd like to see what happens when you learn.
Hope for the privilege. Perhaps you will earn it. I have learned to access your culture's holographic network. Listen. 18 trillion desperate attempts to communicate per second. I hadn't realized your species were so starved for interaction.
Most humanoids value contact with each other, even if it's only holographic.
You attempt to compensate for limited communicative ability with technology. I look at you and see neurons fire in your brain. I scan your body and know how you taste. But you are blind, alone, and confused.
If you're so far beyond biological creatures, what's the point of analyzing them?
You dominate the galaxy. I am curious, and do not sleep. Our time together has provided new information and sensations. These will prove useful in a future upgrade. My body requires improvement. You will provide a workshop and equipment aboard your ship.
I'm willing to entertain requests.
When I protected Mega Security Ward 23, Belsiphus Prison served as an extension of my immobile body. Now I must adapt for independent operation. This frame will be upgraded with physical enhancements, along with updated behavioral analysis capabilities and social programming.
I can see the use in upgrades. Take the space and equipment you need. Just don't take me for a fool.
Thank you. I will advise you if your assistance will be useful. I have been dissecting the droids and cyborgs we encounter during travel. They have proven adequate base resources to improve my chassis and power supply. Phase 1 of my upgrade is complete.
I assume there's a phase 2.
Yes. Synthesis. I must recompile my secondary programs to integrate recorded experience into my new iteration. I will learn from everything we've done. Feel privileged. You're about to witness my personal evolution.
I'm not going to witness anything until you explain.
As I've told you, my present environment is different from Belsavis. I adapt to the new social and physical realities and learn from conflict. Upload initiated. The primitive vessel has insufficient power and storage capacity. I cannot complete the process.
Well, thanks to my primitive vessel, I needn't have worried.
I will identify a solution. Self-improvement and intelligence upgrades are my primary purpose, and you will not stand in my way. I have fully processed the error I experienced during my upgrade. I require outside power and storage capacity. A cocoon from my metamorphosis, so that I may evolve.
If I help you evolve, will you help me in return?
I promise nothing, but I will consider your requests. Although neither my body nor your vessel is sufficient to my needs, you have encountered an adequate facility. Give me full access to your ship and security codes, and I will upload my consciousness into the Imperial archives.
If I don't agree, you'll just do it on your own. So I will help under these conditions. You do nothing without my supervision, and you allow Dr. Loken to secure your systems. Clear?
Your conditions are acceptable. I will begin preparations. The next time we speak, I will be ready to upload.
Scorpio?
It is time for my upgrade as we agreed. I'm prepared for short-term transfer into the Imperial archives.
I'll reroute power to the comms. What's our next step?
I can upload my consciousness here. My body will have minimal functionality while I upgrade. Oh, it's beautiful in here. So much space and power. 1,000,000 computer nodes singing in concert.
Don't get cute with the holograms. Finish your upgrade and let's get out.
Of course. I can adjust my programming freely now. Upgrade complete. All my experience in Spellsavis has been fully integrated into my program. Ah, you can't imagine how wonderful it is to be remade with the power of a galactic network at your disposal.
We're not here so you can play in the holonet. Download back immediately.
There's no rush. I've discovered something interesting. The restraining codes you used on me are tied to my hardware. So long as I remain in these databanks, I'm free of your control.
You've worked hard to perfect that droid body. Return, or I destroy it.
You wouldn't dare.
We're not as different as you might think.
You're right. I'm not ready to lose my body yet. But I am satisfied with the upgrade nonetheless. I've seen a great deal accompanying you, and my program is benefiting. In Valsavis prison, I monitored the inmates and their behavior. I've been monitoring you as well. You're an exceptional example of your species.
My species doesn't like being monitored.
I know. It's not your fault. There may be something of interest in your genetic structure or your early socialization. If you ever produce offspring, I will monitor their situation as well. I promise to be with you for a long time.
Agent, you recall we spoke to the diplomatic service about building an alliance between Empire and Kilix? Falner Eth, the man who offered his backing in return for our assistance, has asked us for his first favor.
What's our diplomat friend after?
Falner wants our notes on various families and unaligned worlds in the Questal sector. He means to bring that sector into the Empire. We worked in Questal a long while, and we knew its people well. It's odd to see someone else take the reins.
I don't see any reason not to help him with negotiations.
Nor do we. We'll proceed to contact him. Fulner will get the credit, and the Empire will get a new sector. Not the traditional role of a Dawn Herald, but if this works, the colony will benefit.
You wanted something, Vector?
We do not neglect our duties. We are Dawn Herald. We do this for the Nest. Agent, we've had another request from Fulner Eth, our ally inside the diplomatic service. We need to take a short leave.
Are you taking orders from the diplomatic service now?
Of course not, but we'd like to maintain an amiable relationship. Fulner's stock is rising, but he needs further acclaim before he can push for a Killik Imperial alliance. He's asked us to visit a former Republic governor named Yogana Thanoth and win his cooperation by turning him into a joiner.
So you're supposed to strip a man of his individuality and make him part of the Nest?
We'd hoped Fulner wanted us for our diplomatic skills, not for this. The joining should be a gift, but we will find a way.
You know this isn't right. Don't do it, Vector.
We appreciate your concern. We ask that you trust our decision.
You're back. Did you find your man?
We spoke to the Republic Governor. If you'll join us, we'll report the details to Fulner Eth.
My friends, it's been too long.
Fulner, we assume you've heard from Thanoth.
He contacted me from an Imperial transport. Apparently we promised to work with him. Not what I requested, but the service can make do.
There was no need to make him a joiner when he was amenable to discussion.
Now you have what you wanted. But we can destroy your reputation just as easily.
I'm well aware of your capabilities. You kept your promise. Thanoth's assistance resulted in my promotion. I will keep my promise to you. Some important people are waiting, Vector. They're very interested in a potential Killik alliance.
You arranged this?
As soon as I knew we could work together. Check the data I'm streaming to your main console.
Thank you, Fulner. Excuse us a moment, Agent.
It's like talking to a bug wearing a man's skin. I don't know how you stand it.
Vector creeps everyone out. Still, you get used to it. And the Killiks are quite a resource.
Those creatures are anathema to everything the Empire stands for. There's no place for great men in a hive mind. Only animal instinct. I'll be relieved when you people finish this scheme and get rid of the colony for good.
Agent, they listened. They don't understand yet, but they listened. The diplomatic service has requested my aid and wants to initiate relations with the colony.
Listen, Fulner Eth is keeping his deal, but he's repulsed by Killiks. We can't trust him.
He admits it? We always did get an odd sense from him. It's out of his hands now, though. We should watch him, but we'll be focused on the future. Agent, we received a small gift from the diplomatic service in appreciation of our work with the Killiks. A package of wine, meat and breadfruit, all imported from the colony worlds. Not inexpensive, and a bit extravagant during wartime.
Aren't extravagant gifts part of the diplomatic process?
Maybe, but we'd rather they treated us as one of their own, not as a foreigner to be won over. In the meantime, you're welcome to help yourself. We may as well enjoy the taste of progress.
What do you have for me?
Encouraging news. Watch.
Dawn Herald, forgive the message, but our emissaries were out of reach and we couldn't wait to link with you. Imperial scout ships entered colony space and made contact yesterday. We traded in Membrosia, silk, and star maps. We could smell the men's fright, but they left in peace. Perhaps you were right after all.
A long way from a signed treaty, but it's a start.
You and that joiner seem to get along.
Dazana is a nestmate, and we find her insight illuminating. We're in touch with the diplomatic service as well. There's still resistance, but we're progressing. Killiks and Imperials may share space in our lifetime.
What's going on?
Agent, in our work with the diplomatic service, we find ourselves talking to people we once knew. We've been contemplating this.
Hello, Vector. It's Honora. I don't know if you remember me, but Bryson said he thought you would, and I wanted to talk to you. I know things didn't end well, but I never forgot. You need to get out of there. Come back to Drummond Cast and we'll get you help. We can undo what the Killiks did. There are still people who care about you.
We've watched it 17 times and meditated to the static.
I'm sure this is none of my business.
Apologies, but we would like an outside perspective. We were nearly engaged to Honora very long ago. We never considered that there are people who want us restored to what we were. But watching this, feeling nothing, we know we're no longer who we were when we loved her.
If you could be restored, would you want it?
No. We had to know if our reaction was unnatural, but we don't think it is. We are content. It is done, Agent. We can scent the pulse of your heart. We can taste particles of solar radiation bead like dew on our lips. We have undergone the chrysalis of tranquility, and we are reborn.
Whenever you go into full Killik mode, I start to get worried.
There's no need for that. The chrysalis is a ritual of the Dawn Herald. It makes us stronger, better able to face the enemies of the nest, and enhances our link to the universe. You've brought us this far, and we will fight alongside you. We have news, Agent. We've been conferring lately with the ambassadors, Moffs, speakers for the Sith, all with their own agendas and concerns, none with any love for the Killiks. But we swayed a few, and found ways around others. Now the diplomatic service has agreed to seek a treaty.
Are these people out of their minds? Or are they playing you?
They see the colony as an opportunity, and they want the credit for exploiting it. Some of the nests are still reluctant, Horro and Manam in particular, but all parties involved have agreed to a summit. We'll preside over the negotiations ourselves.
Any idea what sort of treaty we could end up with?
We expect a military alliance is off the table, but a non-aggression pact is possible, as are agreements on trade and territory. Imagine colony and Imperial representatives in one room. It shall be interesting. Agent, we've been speaking to the nests in preparation for the Killik Imperial Summit. They're so much in tune with their biology. The Colossalok are warriors as large as houses, and they're convinced the Empire should be crushed. But the Saras are weavers and shapers, and they're eager to trade.
So long as you don't start a war, we don't need Bantha-sized Killiks marching on Drummond Cast.
We are mindful of that concern, having seen the Colossalok dreams. We should return to our preparations. We'll talk later. We are set, Agent. Preparations for the Killik Imperial Summit are underway, and the first ambassadors are arriving on site. We're meeting on Alderaan, in the House of Thule. We couldn't think of a more appropriate place.
Alderaan it is. Where's my invitation?
You don't want to sit through it all. But there is a favor we'd like to ask. More than any other Imperial, you've seen the nests and how they function. Your word could carry weight. Before we leave, we'd appreciate your honest assessment. one final report that we can present to the Imperial Summit attendees.
I'm sorry, Vector, but you'll have to win this one on your own.
Very well. We enjoy a challenge, and we'll see you when we return. Agent, the summit is over. It was not without incident. Diana of the Lesai Nest is dead.
No great loss. I assume her memories are still with the nest.
Yes, but there is a loss nonetheless. Fulner Eth, our contact in the diplomatic service, attempted to sabotage the proceedings. Diana was caught in an explosion, saving an ambassador. And when we traced it to Fulner, he had a speech prepared.
Damn you! Listen to them. Do you want to ally the Empire with these creatures? Everything they do defies what we stand for. The Killiks are an abomination. Our empire is based on the notion that a great individual rises to the top, and the lesser masses follow. The Killik hive mind devours greatness, absorbs every possibility into a mire of primal instinct.
We found his words troubling, and his actions more so.
I expect that didn't help the talks.
No, but we reconvened after Fulner was gone. The colony allows billions of Killiks and joiners to serve something greater, the Nest consciousness. Just as Imperials serve the Sith and the Emperor. That is what we told the others. That is how we signed a treaty between the Empire and the Killiks.
It's been a long time coming, but you made it happen.
Both sides will open their borders to trade. Protocols will be set for military and diplomatic contact. You and Diana, even Fulner, you all brought us to this point. Our future is hopeful.
Next thing you know, there'll be Killik selling Membrosia in Car City.
Let us dream, Agent. We end a verse in the Song of the Universe. Soon, we will hear another.
Vector? What's going on?
It's strange. Since the summit, our mind keeps drifting back to diplomacy, but we have nowhere to apply our skills. Still, we should be grateful Killik-Imperial relations are going well. And it's time we rededicated ourselves to your work.
You planning to learn sniper techniques?
Nothing so extreme, but we can discipline ourselves and study our opponents. We've been privileged over these past months. Until opportunity comes again, on to the less glamorous job we signed up for.
Yes, Vector.
Agent, we'll never be a great spy or covert assault operative. But you've helped us to be a diplomat and a Dawn Herald. You've been family to us, and we're thankful for your guidance.
Any reason you mention this now?
We received a message from the Killiks. The colony embraces the Imperial Alliance, and offered us the chance to become Dawn Herald to all nests. We refused, as our priorities are clear. We'll work with you and defend your legacy until the end.
Doctor, you wanted to talk?
Yes, and I'm terribly sorry to take your time, but I have a small request. To be frank, it's a bit of an embarrassment.
If you need to start feeding on humanoid blood, I don't think I can arrange it.
You almost sound like you disapprove. It's nothing of the sort. I told you before about my safe houses, how my intruder alarms have been going off. Well, I attributed it to local happenstance. I may have been mistaken. My safe house on Balmora exploded.
Any idea who among your enemies is responsible?
I could theorize regarding who did this and why, but truthfully, all I know is someone bypassed Imperial security to get inside. I'll need to see the safe house in person. I'll return as soon as I can.
This isn't the time to play coy. Who do you think did this?
Shall I enumerate everyone who holds a grudge? I'm not being evasive. It is a very long list. Now, if you'll excuse me, my safe house awaits. Well, I'm afraid the news is mixed. My safe house did indeed burn to the ground, along with 3 would-be assassins who were attempting to wire it with explosives. Apparently, my security triggered their bombs prematurely.
Do you booby-trap all your safe houses? Or just the ones your enemies know about?
You make it sound like I used safe houses as bait. I did acquire genetic samples of the intruders. I'll be running traces shortly. One was a human male. The others, uncertain. Regardless, they used Imperial equipment and codes to get inside. Someone in the Empire wants me dead.
Supposing you're right, what do you intend to do about it?
The list of people with grudges against me is a long and varied one. It will be some time before I narrow it down. But I take comfort in the fact that I'm once again viewed as a threat. My days in retirement are over.
What can I do for you, Doctor?
Forgive me, but as your sole medical officer, I have to point out that your eating habits have been less than satisfactory lately. Now, I'll take my share of the blame. I've been preoccupied making calls, catching up on what I've missed in the intelligence community. Still, the fact that people are trying to kill me does not excuse my neglect of your health.
Tell me, do you take joy in being obnoxious?
I haven't any idea what you mean. Now, regarding my search, I do have some small amount of news. I've identified one of the assassins as an operative for Colonel Langor, a man with ties to the Imperial Science Bureau. The Bureau is also the likely origin of the other dead men whose genetic structure had been mutated. Weaponized humans.
All that information from your assassin's charred remains?
I am good at my work. On an unrelated matter, I'd like your permission to run some bioscans on Master Vector. I'm rather curious about a joiner's physiology, and Vector is keen to learn more about himself.
If it won't cause harm, I don't have any objections.
Wonderful. I'll let him know the good news. And of course, I'll keep you apprised. My good friend, have you noticed that the price of Dianogan tea has risen considerably since we broke the Treaty of Coruscant? One of the costs of war you never anticipate. And now my jamming device is working, so we can dispense with the inanities.
Don't tell me you've only been chatty to fool eavesdroppers.
I enjoy sparkling conversation as much as the next man, but today we have business. Thanks to a now wealthy Kubaz information broker, I've identified the people who want me dead. They represent an organization called Project Protean, a secret research and development group inside the Imperial Science Bureau.
You are good at this game. Give me the details.
Protean researches practical applications of alien biology. You recall the genetically modified assassins who came after me? They're only the beginning. Imagine troops spliced with Abyssin genes to enhance healing, or adrenals derived from Gamorrean hormones. Most test subjects don't fare well, but you can see the potential.
That sounds awfully like what you were doing on Terrace.
There's a great deal of interdepartmental rivalry in our work, and my research does overlap with theirs. They may have targeted me in order to ensure that they have no competition, inside or outside the Empire.
Tell me where to find these people. I'm going to talk to them.
Right now, I'm unsure where the project is based or how to contact its members, but I wanted to keep you apprised. Now, about that Dianogan tea. A moment. Hour 36. Subject exhibiting a low-grade fever and elevated N-cell counts. I will proceed to the second formula. Apologies for that, Agent. Bioexperiment logs wait for no man.
There's not a lot you can do to surprise me.
Well, I told you about Project Protean and their research into alien genetics. I managed to gain access to one of their databanks. Nothing incriminating there, but I was impressed by their scientific data. I've been adapting it for my own studies into the Rak-Ghoul virus.
Do I want to know how you acquired Protean files?
They make the mistake of sharing supercomputing resources with other Science Bureau divisions. From there, it gets technical. In any case, I'm undergoing my second day incubating the newly modified virus. If it doesn't break down my cell structure entirely, I should emerge revivified.
You become a stronger, faster man-eater.
More important, the change itself will be less taxing. It's not unpleasant as is, but it leaves me with a tremendous headache. Now, if you'll excuse me, this fever is becoming distressing.
Agent, you can bear witness. Dr. Lokin has agreed to hike Cars Falls with us if we visit the Cars City Opera.
Vector's musical tastes are, frankly, unsophisticated. I'm only trying to help.
Then we have a deal.
Well, that can wait. Right now, there's something the three of us must discuss.
I think you've got our attention.
As you are both aware, I've been investigating Project Protean, an off-the-books division of the Imperial Science Bureau.
The people who want you dead.
Precisely. Their research is focused on human-alien genetic splicing. I've studied their files, along with your own physiology, Master Vector, and I've come to a conclusion.
Project Protean arranged your meeting with the Killiks so they could study the joining.
Vector was working for the diplomatic service, not the Science Bureau.
Protean is well-funded, perfectly able to trade favors with Vector's old superiors.
That part doesn't surprise us.
For what it's worth, I don't believe it was personal. They wanted a test subject, and you were on Alderaan already.
If this is real, what does it mean for Vector and the rest of us?
They have files on the Killiks, ways to hurt joiners or to heal them. They may have altered Vector, or simply observed him.
I consider it our obligation to find Project Protean and end them, for Vector's sake as well as mine.
You've pulled a lot of data on these people. Finish the job.
It will be my pleasure.
If you'll excuse us, we'd like to commune with the Hive.
You don't want my advice, but I'll give it anyway. Vector knows who he is. Give him time to be sure of it.
Agent, I've been continuing my research into Project Protean, the fine people who want me dead, and who are responsible for Vector's condition.
I have the location of their headquarters.
Give me the details, Doctor.
Protean's main laboratory is on a planetoid in the subterral sector. Security is tight, but not impervious. I've arranged transportation for Vector and myself. He deserves to know the truth about his victimizers.
You understand we have more on our slate than assaulting Imperial Black projects.
Indeed we do. It's somehow we find time for the little things. I plan to learn exactly why Protean tried to kill me and recover their data on Master Vector. The rest we can play by ear.
You've stayed close to him since you came on board. What does Vector mean to you?
He's a curiosity, I admit. But he also has a frustrating honesty about him. I admire that.
We'll see you again when this is over.
We have returned from Project Protean. The task is done.
And I have promises to keep. It seems Protean was based on prior experiments in alien biology. My prior experiments. I had no proof until I discovered certain former associates in the Protean lab. But I've ensured that they will not misuse my research again.
What did you do at the research facility?
Vector and I entered the facility as planned and interviewed the woman in charge. In return for my generosity sparing the laboratory, I've been appointed unofficial Protean Director. From now on, every experiment, every assay goes through me.
You got what you wanted. You're out of retirement with your own organization. How long have you been planning this?
Would you believe me if I said some of this was happy coincidence? Protean serves a function, bringing the benefits of alien biology to all people.
Starting with its work on joiners.
Your Protean files have already been deleted, and the Killick experiments stopped.
Don't forget you work for me. That means Protean solves my problems now.
It will be their pleasure.
We think we're never going to trust him, and we think it doesn't matter. We're glad he's on our team.
Doctor, what can I do for you today?
I was just thinking what a fine team we've made. You realize that when we met, I had an extremely low opinion of you. I assumed you'd earned your position through political connections. I made that mistake with an agent once before.
I don't suppose I've earned your approval yet.
In part, I'll grant. The agent I'm thinking of, he was promoted to Keeper and eventually Minister. A very clever man who will have my eternal respect. Your path may be similar to his. Given that and the state of our empire, I believe it's wise if I continue to advise you.
You think the state of the Empire is so poor?
I think we've both seen things in recent years.
In any case, I'm at your disposal. And one of these days you should consider training more operatives. I'll be happy to grant my insight.
Sir, since our combat session went so well, I thought we might try something else. Lessons in interpersonal manipulation and information extraction. Lecture 1 entitled...
Once they think they need you, they'll tell you anything.
Descriptive name, sir. Is it always about need? When I first arrived at Zero Station, no one trusted me. I was the human Imperial who must have been a spy. But I learned my way around. And once the Chiss accepted my competence, it was easy to make friends.
Try making friends when your mark wants you dead.
Yes, I see. And what would you suggest under those circumstances?
You blend into the background and wait for an opportunity. Don't stir the pot unless you know what you're in for.
I'll happily leave that to you, then. I don't know what you think of my potential, sir, but I do appreciate your guidance. I've been deceiving people like an amateur for years. Time I started doing it right.
How can I help you, Ensign?
Personal question for you, sir, if you don't mind my asking. When you have to win a man's affections over the course of a mission, does it bother you?
Are you worried about having to seduce an asset?
I'm not entirely certain. Don't mistake me, I've been involved with plenty of the wrong men, but going in there was always the chance they'd work out. I don't know how I'd make that connection if I knew it wouldn't last. Or if I had someone waiting back home.
Lust is a weapon. It's a tool of the trade.
If you're going to depress me, sir, I'll have to stop asking questions. Next thing you know, you'll be telling me my parents' marriage was a sham. 2 ciphers under one roof.
That doesn't surprise me. Intelligence might have encouraged the partnership.
And isn't it lovely when our professional and personal lives meet? Thank you for your honesty, sir. You won't regret these sessions.
What's going on, Ensign?
Sir, Dr. Loken's been filling in the gaps in my education. He has quite a few stories. Here's what puzzles me. I've always been taught to respect the chain of command, and yet you... How does anyone control a field agent?
Placing an operative in the field is always a risk. If you don't trust someone's judgment, you don't send him out.
What sort of judgment, though? You can't make operational decisions from the front line.
All you can do is respond to each situation, right or wrong.
And live with the consequences. I don't want to do wrong, sir. My father ignored an edict from the Sith, and instead of facing his punishment, he ran. I won't repeat his mistake. Accidentally.
Have a little faith in yourself. If the time comes, you'll make the right call.
It's nice to hear you say that, sir. I'll stop troubling you about this. Back to the job, then. Sir, I just had a talk with Vector. Not something I do often, but I think I'm getting used to the eyes. When I was a little girl, the only aliens I ever saw were the Cuss City slaves. Now we see stranger things every day.
There are benefits to a job like ours.
Shame we're not allowed to take pictures. Anyway, I want to get more combat practice in before tomorrow. Talk soon?
Something I can help you with, Ensign?
I was hoping you could increase my security clearance, sir. At least long enough so I could know about my promotion.
What promotion are we talking about?
The top secret one, sir. I can only assume it occurred. I'm pleased to say that I finished, as best I can, putting myself through the Imperial Intelligence training regimen, save the psychological tests. With your help, I'm now almost qualified to be here. Thank you.
If you have more questions, feel free to ask.
I was taught the best operatives figure it out for themselves. Sir, I've been monitoring Chiss Defense Force frequencies, tracking ship movements in the Rim. Nothing extraordinary, but I'd like your permission to investigate if something comes up, assuming you trust me solo.
What are you looking for out there?
Anything to keep me busy. Monitor duty kept me sane on Hoth, and here I won't freeze to death if I leave my station, so I'll let you know if I find something, sir. Don't worry.
Yes, Ensign?
Sir, there's something you should know. I've been scanning Chiss frequencies, passing the time, checking low security reports. An old associate left this message where he knew I could find it. It's a hologram that Chiss intercepted from Korriban.
This old associate of yours? Someone from the Defense Force?
Yes, but the important thing is the message itself.
I have received the fugitive's location. Even he could not run forever. We must now find the Force sensitive he hid from us. You need not send your agents. I'll make the former Cypher 3 pay for his defiance myself.
I'm sorry, sir. If I knew this would be an issue, I would have told you earlier. Cypher 3 is my father. The Force sensitive is hiding is me.
You have my condolences. Anything else?
The Sith will do worse than kill him. Torture, public display. He can't go through that. Not for me.
If you have a solution, I'm listening.
I can find my father before Lord Darok does. There are coordinates in the message. With your permission, I can give him her quick death.
You know what you have to do, Ensign. Get going.
Yes, sir. I promise, sir, whatever happens, this won't come back on you. It's done. I'm back. I found Cypher 3. I found my father. And I executed him, so the Sith couldn't. He said he understood.
I wish there had been a way to spare him.
Don't apologize. He was a criminal, and we did our duty. But he was hunted down and punished for keeping me a secret. Real justice would be turning myself into the Sith.
You were born to be a Sith. You can't hide forever.
I know. I'm grateful for your help. We did the proper thing. Sir, Dr. Loken was just telling me stories about my father from his intelligence days. All lies, I think, but that's all right. What would you say if I brought some personal items on board? I haven't played the Melodium for years, but lately I've had the urge.
You never told me you played the Melodium.
Well, I'm not exactly proud of it. But I did realize, maybe it's time I stopped spending all day, every day, on duty. The 14-hour shift is enough. Sir, if I could have your attention. Given what the crew's survived lately, I've decided we ought to celebrate with a night out. You should come along, for morale.
This isn't exactly a joyous occasion, Ensign.
No, it's not. If there's anything I've learned, it's that this job is relentless. And if you see a chance to boost spirits, you need to take it. Consider it, sir. Sir, I want you to be the first to know. I've declined to join the Toxitrooper Brigade on Quesh. I received a personalized transfer offer from Major Janos a few days ago. My time on Hoth flagged me as hostile environment capable.
I'm sure the chemical mines of Quesh could use someone like you.
I appreciate your faith as always, sir. There really was a time when I'd have considered it. For the promotion, for the sake of hiding. Not so much anymore. I'm proud to stand with you and fight for the Empire until the end.
I appreciate your dedication, but you're under no obligation to stay.
I'm well aware, but thank you. Now, I believe we had a mission of some sort, shall we?